as it is said out there. This money belongs to Kenyans, and we must do whatever it takes to serve our people and avail resources that are appropriated by this House. Honorable Speaker, I urge members to be patient and engage the Cabinet Secretary when he comes here.
So, honorable members,
thank you.
I will direct the clerk to invite the CS for roads and transport to be here tomorrow in the afternoon. We will start with him for 30 minutes only before we have the Prime Cabinet Secretary to answer to several issues, including the very contentious issues you have been raising here about hardship areas and their designations and the allowances that go with it. So tomorrow, those who have been agitating about order, Honorable Anjala, of late you have been behaving so well. Or is it Alicia who is inciting you to misconduct yourself? Those members who have been raising issues about designation and classification of hardship areas, tomorrow the Prime Cabinet Secretary will be here to respond to that issue. And I expect him to tell the House and the country more about policy than enclaves of hardship, so that we get to know what it means to be a hardship area and what goes with it and who deserves it. So tomorrow afternoon, we will start with Honorable CS for Transport and Roads on the singular issue of RMLF. Don't stray in with other issues. Then we go to the PCS. So GK, be here to support the minister to whom your committee oversights tomorrow. Thank you. Bashir?
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of this House something of national importance that has been happening in the last 2 days. And this is a matter that has been aired on our media stations and televisions called Bloodbath Parliament. Honorable Speaker, that documentary was run by BBC World Service, and it's been run through our national media stations. And it captures or talks about the event that happened in June the 25th. A very sad day indeed, tragic and shameful. Tragic in the sense that we lost lives of our fellow Kenyans. Shameful in the sense that democracy of the parliament was about to be infringed. And nevertheless, it has come at this time, a time that we have really moved on. We spoke about that issue in this House, discussed it, sympathized, mourned our fellow Kenyans who passed on during that day. However, it has come at this time again. As much as we agree that our fellow Kenyans lost their lives, unfortunately, but we also moved on to ensure that we reconcile the country as we move on. BBC World Service has attended to this matter in a way that also looked at the Kenyan society or African society as something that discriminatory, sort of, if I may say so. Honorable Speaker, it looked like our media stations also picked it up without questioning how BBC World Service aired the story. It happens world over. People are killed, our people are killed. We sympathize, we moved on. Even world over. Remember, there was the same issue or similar in Capitol Hill. BBC World Service never took the opportunity to say something. It happened in London, they never said it. It happened in many Western nations, they never said it. Above all, there's the killing of women and children in Gaza, and BBC World Service never speak about it. Unfortunately, where 50,000 have been killed so far, especially women and children by a country. They never cover those things. So I think the timing of that report, and it comes at a time when IPOA and other investigative agencies are doing an investigation, and they never shared that with them. Let us not subjugate or discriminate against our own agencies that we think are doing their jobs. It's a matter of us saying, let us ensure that they have capacity to do their job. But let us not clap hands for foreigners who always come and say, this is wrong, what you are doing. Pointing fingers at whatever we do. BBC is a world-renowned station, media station. They have never talked about the genocide that is happening in Gaza, and yet it's a world service. But they want to incite at this time. So, Honorable Speaker, I think why I'm raising this point, because the title itself talks about bloodbath parliament. They should have talked about the protests that happened that day in Kenya or Nairobi, but they chose to use the term bloodbath parliament. That is to also see parliament in a very bad light. This doesn't mean that we don't sympathize with our Kenyans who have been killed. We did here. We mourned them. We empathized with them. We sympathized with them. But the timings of this report by BBC World is unfortunate. And it touches on lack of patriotism also on our part, trying to showcase things done by a foreign media. I want to take on BBC World. Please go to Gaza and report also what is happening in Gaza as well. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to bring that to attention of the House so that they are also aware that this is a national matter that is happening in our soil. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, KJ.
Mr. Speaker, this matter that has been brought to the floor by Honorable Bashir is a very critical national matter that we need to prosecute with sobriety as Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, there is no member who would rise on the floor of this House to support atrocities by any uniformed officer against our citizens. And in fact, we are not here to say whether the Kenya Army or the Kenya Defense Forces have done right or done wrong, because it is not in our place to judge them. However, Mr. Speaker, it is not lost to my mind that in the last Parliament, Mr. Speaker, this House declined to assent to the renewal of the terms of service and the terms of training of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, the Batuk. Mr. Speaker, when we refused to sign up and regularize Batuk's presence in Kenya, we took a hitting as a House, Mr. Speaker. But in this 13th Parliament, the Parliament has been able to pass that British Army Training Unit in Kenya can practice and train on our mother soil, Mr. Speaker. However, that was not without a rider. This House put a rider, and the rider was serious, Mr. Speaker. The rider was saying that there is no way that a British officer can end up committing a crime in Kenya and not tried in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the British Army Training Unit is known to have killed our people. They are known to have raped our women. They are known to have maimed our people. Mr. Speaker, they are also known for serious environmental degradation. And we understand, Mr. Speaker, even in media, that the BBC is funded by taxpayers' money in Britain, meaning that BBC is funded to push the foreign agenda of the British people internationally, Mr. Speaker. And so we must know, is BBC speaking as a mouthpiece of the government and the people of Britain? Or what is it that the BBC is doing? Could it be an attempt to untwist this country so that they can rescind on the rider that we put on their training of the Batuk units in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, and perpetuate a history of extractive economy, oppressive economy, and exploitative economy in a very unfair trade balance between Kenya and the UK. Mr. Speaker, even as we debate this matter, it is not lost to us that yes, there were unfavorable events that took place in the time and the lead up to the finance bill. But Mr. Speaker, that is not what we are debating. We would like to know for a fact whether what BBC is hearing is connected to the riders that this House put on the training of the British Army training units in Kenya, where we were requiring that any officer of the British Army, if they are found here in Kenya to have killed, to have maimed, to have raped, they should be tried here in the mother soil, as it would happen even for a Kenyan if they were found guilty of a criminal offense in the UK. So that, Mr. Speaker, the issues are clear for Kenyans, because we know there are many issues that have happened in the UK, very many issues that have happened elsewhere, but they did not get the media presence that we are seeing being put on this issue of the Kenyan Defense Forces. And I dare say, Mr. Speaker, that I do not speak this in defense of the Kenya Defense Forces. I speak this to frame the issues, so that even as we are talking about this issue, we know that there could be an interest that is an ulterior interest being pushed with these media reports, because I know as a media practitioner, there is never a news item that appears on a prominent media station that is an orphan. Any media item that comes up on a media station has its own father and it has its own mothers. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and let us look at the agreement that we put down for the British Army to be able to train in Kenya and on Kenyan soil, and the exploitation of our environment, the depletion of our environment, and the cases that we know of human rights abuses that are conducted by the British Army on Kenyan soils. The killing, the maiming, and the raping will not go unnoticed, and we will not keep quiet about this issue. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
On the same, Millie? Yes, Millie?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable Keje for urging that we speak soberly about this issue. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to speak soberly about this issue. And sometimes when you're in leadership, you have to take the road less traveled. And on this issue, I want to take the path less traveled. Mr. Speaker, we lost many young people. And we have very many young people who are traumatized as a consequence of what happened. Mr. Speaker, it is a point in our country that all of us wish never happened, but it happened. Mr. Speaker, I think we have not handled this issue well, and that is why sometimes you find people from outside are coming to document this. If, as Kenya, we were able to acknowledge that things went wrong and we need to fix it, then, Mr. Speaker, even if BBC aired it, it doesn't matter. We have to fix our own problems on our own. We don't have to wait for BBC to tell us there was something wrong. I have a problem with the title that they've given, but which is typical of any media house, because they want it to trend and then want it to, yeah. And because of that, Mr. Speaker, they may have given it that title. But, Mr. Speaker, we have not yet dealt with some of the issues. We have dealt with some, but one of the issues we have not dealt with is the trauma. Mr. Speaker, I said it when Honorable Elachi lost the son. Mr. Speaker, we have a very angry young generation in this country. And part of the anger is on the issues that we are seeing, Mr. Speaker. And we cannot bury our heads in the sand, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let Parliament take the lead. And let us find a way of helping these young people to heal. Because, Mr. Speaker, we don't know what may come in the next few months, next year, or whatever. And furthered by the fact that we have very many young people who are jobless, who are frustrated. And if these people, I don't know what their intention is. Their intention could be fuel more harm and whatever. I don't know what their intention is. But from the young people that have spoken, it has actually created more anger. We are taking them back to the path that they would rather not walk again. But they are walking it. And we don't know at what point somebody else will fuel it again. You can't stop the media. Somebody else will fuel that anger again. And so for us to deal with it, let this Parliament take that mandate to deal. When we had post-election violence, Mr. Speaker, I was lucky to be in this Parliament. I think we were with you in that Parliament. Mr. Speaker, we set up a select committee. We walked all over this country. And because as human beings, we have a nature to forget. When we thought we had moved on, I remember in one case, we met a woman whose husband's head had been decapitated. She went to her home with the husband's head. And we were dealing with people who are angry, people who are depressed. And going there, Mr. Speaker, I remember to date when I was speaking in Parliament, I broke down and cried. Not because of me, but because of what we had. And we think we are moving on, but there are many young people who have not necessarily moved on. Mr. Speaker, personally, I would appeal, and I don't want to sit in that committee, but I would appeal that we set up a select committee to deal with this issue that stemmed not necessarily the finance bill, but the after effect of that finance bill. Mr. Speaker, I humbly agree that we deal with this soberly, and I'd want to discourage us from going through a process which we think may be politically correct, but does not necessarily move us forward as a country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Beatrice Kamei, ask your request for your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to request for a statement regarding investigations into escalating cases of femicide and gender-based violence in Kericho County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44.2 Part C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding investigations into escalating cases of femicide and gender-based violence in Kericho County. Honorable Speaker, Article 26 of the Constitution guarantees the inalienable right to life to every person, regardless of age, gender, and social status. Additionally, various statutes, including the Sexual Offences Act, Cap 63A, and the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act, Cap 151, place an obligation on the state to prevent, respond to, and provide mechanisms for reporting and prosecuting acts of gender-based violence and femicide. However, the implementation and enforcement of these laws remain inadequate to address the issues. Between July and September 2024, there were 62 reported cases of gender-based violence and femicide in Kericho County. On 14th April 2025, MS Mercy Chelangat, a 27-year-old mother of two from Kapkwen village in Kipkelion West, was allegedly stabbed by her husband during a family reconciliation meeting, an attack which occurred in the presence of other family members. MS Chelangat is currently recovering at the Kericho County Referral Hospital, along with two other family members who were allegedly injured during the incident. On 17 April 2025, barely 3 days later, MS Miriam Chelimo, a 25-year-old woman, mother of 2, who was pregnant, was allegedly attacked by her husband at Kilmori Shopping Center at Kitoi Village. She was rushed to St. Vincent Hospital in Moroni, where she succumbed to her injuries. Honorable Speaker, despite the severity of these incidences and the attackers being known, there have been very few arrests and almost no successful prosecutions. The continued absence of justice violates the right to life, equality, and freedom from discrimination as enshrined in the Constitution. Notably, on 14 February 2024, this House adjourned its business under Standing Order 33-1 to address the rising femicide in the country. Additionally, a consultative meeting between the President and the women leaders from across the country culminated in the launch of the Commercia Duluma campaign in January 2025 to address the rising cases of femicide and GBV in the country. However, femicide continued to escalate, and survivors and families of victims suffer in silence, with perpetrators are not apprehended. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, the current status of investigations into the reported femicide and GBV cases in Kericho County, particularly the attacks on MS Mercy Chelangat and MS Miriam Chelimo. 2, a report on the number of reported femicide and GBV cases between July 2024 and April 2025, including steps being taken by the ministry to ensure all reported cases of femicide and GBV in Kericho County are fully investigated and prosecuted without undue delay, and indicating the reasons for the low rate of arrests and prosecutions in the Kericho County cases. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
When can you bring a response?
I will issue the response first week on reception from the recess. First week on once we resume from recess.
Deco Barrow, Garissa Town.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Education regarding the status of key projects at Garissa University. Honorable Speaker, Garissa University was first established as a constituent college of Moi University on the 12th August 2011 through a legal notice number 116 under the Moi University Act Cap 210A and the Garissa University College Order 2011, and attained full public university status October 23rd October 2017. In 2015, the institution, then Garissa University College, saw a period of closure following the terror attack, although it has in recent years gradually resumed its activities with a rise in the student enrollment, which now far outstrips the capacity of the existing buildings and infrastructure and utilities. In response to the need for infrastructure for the university, the government, through the Ministry of Education and that of National Treasury, approved a proposal to construct an ultra-modern library complex housing the School of Information and Sciences, a tuition block with an auditorium, a water storage and reticulation system, and administration block. Honorable Speaker, the construction of the ultra-modern library was projected to cost 207,074,948, of which only 39,430,648 has been disbursed. the tuition block was projected to cost 372,800,000, of which only 84,942,762 has been disbursed. The water storage and reticulation system was projected to cost 26,902,000, of which only 10,468,800 has been disbursed. And the administration block was estimated to cost 518,416,664, of which only 151,200,000 has been disbursed so far. Regrettably, the monies disbursed are not the full amount as allocated in the budget, which has led to the key priority projects stalling. As a result, students are compelled to attend lectures under trees, which is an indignity that undermines both the quality of the learning and the institution's standing. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. A detailed report on the current physical and financial status of each project, including the percentage of works completed, the contractors engaged, and the projected completion dates. An exact timeline for the release of the outstanding balances and the measures put in place to ensure these projects are fully funded through completion. Number three, the measures put in place to ensure that there is prudent use of taxpayers' funds and the delivery of value for money by the institution and its contractors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kainan, on the same? 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Garissa University is the only university in the entire region of northern Kenya. And Mr. Speaker, you're also familiar with the history and the circumstances of that university. I don't need to belabor this. Mr. Speaker, I thought by now, and I'm sure you're aware, that there are universities now, almost public-funded universities, almost in every sub-county for an entire region, which is almost 70% of the landmass of the Republic of Kenya, with a growing population. The only university still is traveling. Students are learning under trees. We have made passionate appeal, and I'm glad that the chairman is here of education. Mr. Speaker, will I be right? Because there is no time when there's enough resources for everybody. We must sacrifice for particular groupings or regions that require those services as and when the situation demands. I want to plead with the chairman and the chairman budget to urgently put in place mechanism on an affirmative basis to assist Garissa University so that at least we can have the basic infrastructure to suit that name of being a university. Because right now, so many students have shown the desire to go to that university, and yet everything is lacking, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with you, just like you have done in the past, to compel, and I know we'll also apply, and I want to plead with Honorable Deko, to put everything in perspective so that by the time we are going through the budget-making process, we insist that Garissa University must get a lion's share so that in the next financial year, students can get a conducive infrastructural environment. I support that statement, Mr. Speaker.
Chenyamai, 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I support the Honorable Deko on the fact that this is a university that must be funded. And Honorable Speaker, I would like to add something, Honorable Speaker, that we should not forget the circumstances that made this university to be closed. And this happened on the 2nd of April 2015, where we lost 148 students, Honorable Speaker, if I'm correct on numbers. But the fact is that we lost so many students there. Honorable Speaker, as we work towards ensuring that this university gets budgetary allocations, it is extremely important, and I would like to ask Honorable Deko, Honorable Kainan, and all other members from the northern Kenya and from the eastern part of Kenya, that the people who attacked students in Garissa University originated in my own constituency, Honorable Speaker, Kitui South, in a place called South Kitui Game Reserve. And we have seen now efforts of people, politicians, taking back people into the same game reserve and ensuring that that place called Inyali, where those people were traced to, is now having, it is becoming now a settlement of people where there is no chief and where there is no assistant chief. So, Honorable Speaker, as we work on this, let this matter of security also be considered, and I support that they be given money to fund the university, but take care of security so that people do not leave my constituency, Kitui South, go all the way and kill students and affect the whole of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Melly. When can you bring a response?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The issues raised by Honorable Deko and the two other members are very weighty, and they affect all the universities in this republic. And Honorable Speaker, I and the committee members did walk across most of the universities in the eastern part and the western part of the Rift, and we noted a number of what we call white elephant projects. We even went to Garissa and we found students under trees taking lectures. So, Honorable Speaker, because of this, we are proceeding for recess. Immediately we are back, I'll give a very detailed report, not only on Garissa, but all the universities across the Republic. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. On the same issue? Yes, Bowen.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate the answers given by the Honorable Chair of Education.
He has not given
that many, no, or the promise that he's going to give us soon. But, Mr. Speaker, the chairman has just said that many of our universities are struggling financially. Many of our universities. But again, Mr. Speaker, we are seeing again the same ministry of Education opening some other universities. You have seen, Mr. Speaker. So, even as the chairman looks into the financial constraints in this institution, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to think as a country, do we need some other more universities when these other ones, the strong universities, like Garissa University, more universities, they are going down?
Speaker, I also want to concur with the sentiment of Honorable Bowen. Honorable Speaker, the truth of the matter is that our universities are limping. And the government or the executive has no capacity to fund and sustain these universities. Probably as he comes up with that statement, we need to be very clear on what modalities, what measures are you putting in place to make sure the universities that exist remain afloat, and what measures are you going to put in place to shut down those that cannot remain afloat and have got no capacity to remain afloat? Honorable Speaker, many days, every day you see a university has been opened here, then when you go to the constituencies, they force you, can you go ask for a university? But where I sit, I know it's no longer sustainable to open new universities. We need to be very clear as a country, do we need to continue? And in any case, Honorable Speaker, even if you look at the returns from KUSIPs, you find most students who even qualify to go to university are opting for TVET instead of universities. So it's time now to start to rethink how do we manage our universities. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Melly, you will do as you have promised. Kainan?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Energy regarding the extension of the national power grid from Garissa to Wajir and Mandera counties in the northern Kenya region. So it's just the same thing about the university right now. Honorable Speaker, access to electricity is a fundamental driver of socio-economic transformation and a key enabler of development. The residents of this region, Mr. Speaker, have experienced unreliable electricity in the past, and this is clearly documented, which has disrupted critical services, stifled business operations, and limits access to education and healthcare, ultimately hindering economic growth. Mr. Speaker, the extension of the national grid to northern Kenya region is therefore essential to unlocking the region's economic growth and bridging the development gap, particularly, Mr. Speaker, for Wajir and Mandera. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Energy on the following. a report on the current status of funding, planning, and implementation of the extension of the national grid from Garissa to Wajir and Mandera counties in the northern Kenya region, including the timelines for completion. Mr. Speaker, this project has been in the pipeline since independence, Mr. Speaker, and it has never taken off. We just need to know the truth. Two, Mr. Speaker, the immediate and long-term measures the government is putting in place to ensure the residents in northern Kenya region get access to reliable and affordable power, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the plans that the government is putting in place to address the gap in the provision of power in the region, including alternatives for provision of off-grid solar access. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Energy, Gikaria, when can you bring a response?
Honorable Speaker, if given an opportunity, we can bring after recess once you are back. Honorable Speaker, remember 2 weeks ago, the same thing was raised again here, and I think it is a very critical matter.
So you combine and bring second week.
Thank you, Honorable
after
Speaker.
Recess. Mashua Waithaka. Member for Kiambu County, Kiambu constituency.
Kiambu, yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. A request for statement regarding attempted land grabbing in Tinganga Ward in Kiambu constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Lands regarding the attempted land grabbing targeting the family of the late Mr. Wilson Bodu in Tinganga Ward, Kiambu County. Honorable Speaker, the Bodu family has owned and resided on their 236-acre parcel of land in Tinganga Ward in Kiambu, with their ownership properly documented. The family acquired the land from the white settlers 51 years ago, and legitimate ownership is further evidenced by compensation by the government for land allocated for the development of the Kiambu-Rioki-Giawa Road. An additional compensation received for allocation of land for the Athi Water 3 pipeline easement. However, over the 2 past months, the family has faced systematic harassment through repeated summons from various state agencies, including the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and the National Land Commission, demanding explanations regarding their land acquisition. Honorable Speaker, the harassment has escalated to include unauthorized visits to the property of the family and acts of vandalism within their farm, which has disrupted their farming activities. Despite full cooperation from all official summons and investigations, which have yet yielded evidence of any impropriety, they continue to face intimidation and live in constant fear for their safety and security of tenure. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Land regarding addressing the following. 1, reasons for the repeated summons issued to the Bodu family by various state agencies, including specific details for any informal investigations being conducted. 2, the actions being taken to investigate and address the repeated incidents of vandalism and unauthorized access to the family's property. 3, the specific steps being taken by the ministry to protect the legitimate landowners of the Bodu family, given their documented history of ownership and previous official transactions with government agencies. And 4, the measures being implemented to protect legitimate landowners from harassment and intimidation by state officers and those interested parties in Kiambu and in the country. Honorable Speaker, I further wish to state that I read this statement on 2nd December, and on 5th December, the Land Committee invited the PS, Department for Lands, Honorable Nixon Correo, to provide information regarding the matter. And the record was set straight that indeed both the family do indeed own this land. Honorable Speaker, on the 22nd April of this year, around 11:30 a.m., the family alleges that officers from the DCI headquarters went to the family farm and asked them to vacate the land. It's with this, Speaker, that I seek your direction on this matter. Thank you.
Chair Lands. Any member of Lands Committee? Rachel Nyamai, can your committee bring a response after the recess?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Second week.
I commit to inform the chair so that the response can be brought the second week after opening. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Cynthia Muge, she had approached the chair and indicated she was going out to a meeting, so her question can be deferred to tomorrow. Her request rather for statement deferred to tomorrow. Response, no, before that, Julius Olesunguli.
Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the unfortunate incidents at Angata Barikoi in Kilgoris constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, yesterday, Monday the 28th of April 2025, was a very sad day for Kilgoris. 6 persons, namely Mr. Paul Parsuben of Kapsinendet Village and Mwalimu Joseph Rono of Chelchel Village, Mr. Isaiah Kipkoech of Kabusa Village, Mr. Gideon Koech of Kapsinendet, and Mr. Nelson Rono of Rotka Village, all of Kilgoris constituency, lost their lives after being shot by the police officers from Angata Barikoi and Lolgorian. In addition, the Registrar of Lands Kilgoris, Mr. Jepkwesi, and several other officers were also injured and admitted to various hospitals within the area. The incident occurred during a protest that erupted over a disputed parcel of land where the current residents are believed to be the rightful owners, having lived there as their ancestral land. The security situation in the region remains tense following this incident. Mr. Speaker, it's against this background that I request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following matters. 1, the chairman should inform us who authorized the police officers to use live ammunition against residents who are not armed. 2, why did the registrar and surveyors go to survey land belonging to people of Angata without their consent and fully knowing that the land has a title deed? Each of those pieces of lands are owned by definitely known people. And what was the reason why they had to go and resurvey people's land? Who wants to take that land? Mr. Speaker, thirdly, why is the ministry, and I'm talking about the Ministry of Internal Security, retaining officers in Lolgorian and in Transmara South who have overstayed and they have outlived their usefulness, and now they are being used, I don't know, for some special interest? Can the chairman tell us whose interests are these officers serving, and can he consider removing them immediately? And Mr. Speaker, the government should consider ensuring that the families that have lost their people have been compensated. Mr. Speaker, I beg to request.
Thank you. Kitayama.
Mr. Speaker, kwa ruhusa yako naomba kumuunga mkono Mheshimiwa jirani, Mheshimiwa Sunkuli. Mheshimiwa Speaker, Wazaramo wana msemo unaosema kwamba mla huliwa. Kuna matatizo mengi sana, Mheshimiwa Speaker, ambaye yameibuka eneo hili. Na matatizo haya, Mheshimiwa Speaker, sisi tunashangaa kwamba mara kwa mara kilio kikubwa zaidi kinatokana wakati ambapo vyombo vya dola kwa serikali tofauti tofauti vinaingilia swala hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, juzi tu hapa mwezi wa 11 Mheshimiwa Sunkuli aliomba statement ya aina hii kwa ajili ya mambo haya, na wakati huo ilikuwa ni Angata Baragoi, Guitembe, mpakani pale. Jamii ya jirani zetu wanazozana, Wakuria na Kipsigis. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati huo ikaonekana ni jambo ambalo linahitajika lichukuliwe kwa dharura. Wewe Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kushukuru sana kwa sababu ulitoa agizo kwamba kamati ya usalama, kamati ya administration ambayo inaongozwa na rafiki yangu, ndugu yangu, jirani yangu Mheshimiwa Tongoyo, aje pale katika eneo la tukio aweze kuangalia ni nini tunaweza tukakifanya ili kwamba usalama uweze kuendelea kuwepo pale. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ukao umenituma mimi kikazi kwenda Dubai. Nikakata safari yangu kwa siku 2 mfululizo ambazo nimerudisha hata hela ambayo ulikuwa umenipa mimi kwamba nikaweze kuwa pale. Kwa sababu jambo hili ni nyeti, nikarudi. Tukaenda katika eneo la tukio. Tukajaribu kuangalia, na kamati hiyo ni washukuru sana kwa sababu walisikiliza watu wetu na wakapata uhalisia wa mambo. Shida ambaye hata bunge hili linajua kwamba imenukuliwa kuwa imeanza tangia miaka ya kabla ya uhuru. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, ukweli ulioko ni kwamba tumekataa kama nchi kufuata haki, na tunafanya hivyo makusudi tu. Sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi namuunga mkono jirani Mheshimiwa Sunkuli, na ninasikitika sana na kutoa rambirambi kwa wale familia ambao wameweza kupoteza maisha yao, jamii hizo ambazo zimepoteza mali na matatizo ambayo yanaendelea katika ukanda ule. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba Mheshimiwa Spika, kama nilivyosema hapo juu nikianza kwamba mlauliwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, damu ya binadamu ni damu ya binadamu. Sio vizuri Mheshimiwa Spika itoe picha nzuri, taswira yake inakuwa ni mbovu. Kwamba miezi 2 iliyopita, wiki 2-3 iliyopita, Wakuria waliuawa katika eneo hilo. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, sikuona purukushani ambaye ninaona sasa hivi. Sasa hivi maafa ambaye tunajutia yanaonekana kama ambaye ni maafa makubwa zaidi kuliko maafa yaliyofanyika kwa jamii ya Wakuria. Mheshimiwa Spika, ukanda huu unahitaji mjadala, na sio mjadala wa kupapasa. Unahitaji mjadala wa halisia kwamba eneo hili kihistoria, kwa sababu kila mtu anayezungumza mambo ya eneo hili, shambo hili, anazungumza historia. Sisi Wakuria tuna historia yetu, Kipsigis wana historia yao, Wasiria ndugu zetu, jamii ya Maa wazuri sana, majirani zetu wazuri sana, wana historia yao. Na sisi wote tunakubaliana kwamba maeneo hayo, sisi jamii zile ziko pale za Maa, Masai, Syria, Moitanik, Wasingishu, na sisi Wakuria pamoja na Wakisii na wale wengine wote ambao ni wa kununua pale, tuishi pale kwa sawia. Watu wote tuna haki kwa sababu katiba hii inatupa haki, Mheshimiwa Spika. Sasa haipendezi kwamba hii kamati malizeni. Mheshimiwa Spika, kamati ya administration hii, statement ya pili inakuja kutolewa na Mheshimiwa Sunkuli kwa swala hilo. Kwani hawa watu ni wazembe, ama ni kutaka hawataki, ni kazi hawataki kufanya, ama wanafurahia Wakuria wakifa, Kipsigis wakifa, wanataka nani afe ndio waje kutatua tatizo hili? Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo hili linaudhi Mheshimiwa Spika.
Yes. Tongoyo, ni uzembe au ni kutotaka kufanya kazi? Hii ni ya lands au ni ya security? Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Of course, Honorable Speaker, knowing the importance and sensitivity of this matter, we will respond immediately on resumption from recess. But Honorable Speaker, having said this, I want to say the following. Honorable Speaker, I personally want to join...
Tongoyo, given the gravity of the matter.
Yes.
And the loss of lives. Is there somebody playing some gadget in the house? Who is playing a gadget in the house? It's out of order. Pardon? Yes, is that you, Kajwang? Sorry, okay. Are you able to bring a preliminary response tomorrow afternoon?
Yes, I will, Honorable Speaker.
Lives have been lost. Yeah. We hear of heightened tensions in the area. We saw a policeman with an arrow in his head and many other things. Can you get in touch with the Interior and bring a statement tomorrow afternoon?
I will, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
But Honorable Speaker, just give me a minute to say the following. I'm much obliged, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want also to join my colleague, Honorable Sunguli, really to pass my condolences to the families who lost their loved one. As it is now, the preliminary report is that 5 lives have been lost, of 5 locals, roughly. And of course, about 4 police officers also sustained injuries, including the one you had mentioned that had an arrow that was actually had to be evacuated to get medical attention yesterday evening. As it is for now, Honorable Speaker, the IG, I want to report the IG plus the DCI are on site. There is the meeting ongoing with other leadership of Parliament also in attendance. And the situation is still a little bit calm, but the tension is still running high, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you quite remember, and my colleague had mentioned, that this House didn't instruct the committee to visit the area, and we did exactly so, Honorable Speaker. And I want to really appreciate the colleagues, members of Parliament, who have failed themselves. Kitayama had just confirmed the same. And Honorable Speaker, the report is ready. We actually were just doing the final touches so that we can able to table, we were actually supposed to table this week, or probably once now we resume from recess. But Honorable Speaker, beside the issue of insecurity and the issue of insecurity, the land question is actually the major cause of all this insecurity. And it has been said repeatedly. It's an old thing of backdating around 20 or so years ago, to include even what Kitayama talking about 1940-something, when actually before even the independence. But I don't want to go deeper into it. It will be captured and we can able to see in the report. And we were even lucky. Then when we visited, we took even the police car to enable the police officers to patrol the area and respond to the distress call. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that we can able to have the preliminary report, but I want to report to the country that as it is, the IG and the DCI are on the site trying to calm the situation, and it's a little bit under control. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, members, and just like I talked to the honorable members from Baringo, and I'm happy to see Maclap and his neighbor sitting together. I wish Kamket was also with you. Try members of Parliament from the area, Kitayama, yourself, Sunguli, Johanna Ngeno. You're going on recess for a full month. Go to the ground and pacify communities. Go to the ground and speak to our people. One life lost is one too many. And bring them together so that we can see peace across the length and the breadth of our country. James Koyo. Korere hiyo nimepita. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee of Agriculture and Livestock regarding the position of the leasing program of the state-owned sugar farms. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya sugar subsector plays a vital role in the agricultural sector and the Kenyan economy. The industry contributes to food security, employment creation, regional development, and improved livelihoods for more than 8 million Kenyans. The Kenya sugar industry comprises of 16 milling factories with an installed capacity of 41,000 tons capacity per day, 5 of which are public owned. The public mills are Chemeli Sugar Company, Miwani Sugar Company receivership, Moroni Sugar Company receivership, Nzoia Sugar Company, South Nyanza Sugar Company, and Mumia Sugar Company, where the National Treasury is the single largest shareholder. Honorable Speaker, as part of a new revitalization plan, the government of Kenya initiated the process of leasing 5 public sugar farms, including Chemeli Sugar Company, Moroni Sugar Company in my constituency, Nzoia Sugar Company, South Nyanza Sugar Company, and Miwani Sugar Company also in my constituency to private investors for modernization, for the purpose of modernization, efficient management, and increased productivity. Whereas the public was assured of a transparent and open process that would meet the expectations and aspirations of stakeholders and the Kenyan taxpayers in value addition. The exercise has since appeared to have been driven to extreme secrecy, which has contributed to the failure for the targeted industry to regain operationalization stability as envisaged. This has raised concern among farmers in the sugar belt, and the outcome of the resolution from the exercise will affect the livelihood which is dependent on sugar cane farming. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee of Agriculture and Livestock on the following. 1. The status or the position of the leasing program of the state-owned sugar farms, particularly Moroni Sugar Company and Chemeli Sugar Company, and also the status of Miwani Sugar Company, which together with Moroni are under the same receivership. And during the advertisement for the so-called leasing program, Miwani Sugar Company was also listed for leasing, but has since been quietly hived out for a process that will canvass at a later date. The criteria that was used in tender evaluation regarding the leasing program of Moroni Sugar Company and Chemeli, since these are public properties, everything about them is public. We want whoever is concerned to come out with a program, make it public, and tell the public, this is what we wanted, this is why this company that tender did not meet the threshold, and this is why this so and so met this threshold. The composition of tender committees that considered the leasing exercise and the recommendations they made, everything is being done in secrecy, and the people here fear that the political class has hijacked the process and is determining it on their own and on their own consideration. And I'm telling you, Honorable Speaker, at the time of asking this question in Parliament, the constituency where these factories are is volatile. The workers are already demonstrating. The farmers are going to join them. The businessmen are soon.
Your acceptance was to read the statement that I approved, not to debate it. Have you finished? Yes. Don't engage in extra statements.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's against this that I ask the chairman of departmental committee to come with a statement and make sure it is a statement that will meet the expectations of the public. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Caroli Omondi, you want to joyride on that?
Yes, Honorable Speaker. On 27 September 2023, you did direct the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury to write to me explaining the efforts made by National Treasury to recover and protect the nucleus estate of Miwani Sugar Company, in particular LR number 7545/3, which is about 11,000 hectares. This matter, I believe, is still alive because I have in my hands here a letter dated 11th April 2022 from the PS Agriculture, reference MOALD/legal/18C to the Director General, Kenya Sugar Board, asking that Kenya Sugar Board and Miwani Sugar Company and some other people in court enter into a consent. We have a copy of the consent also here, proposed consent, and I've not received any communication from Treasury as to what they are doing about this particular land. And I believe your directives are not issued in vain. So it is part of this, and I would be happy to get a statement.
Clerk, follow up so that the response covers both the concerns of Honorable Koyo and Honorable Carolo Mondi. Yes, Mele, on the same issue?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, what Honorable Koyo and Honorable Carolo Mondi raised is a very pertinent issue, especially in the sugar belt. My constituency and the constituency of Honorable Koyo are actually, we serve the three factories. We serve Moroni, Chemelil, and Miwani. And in fact, these factories are actually public entities, and we allow the government for the reforms, but the reforms should be transparent, it should be, the people should be involved, and more importantly, there should be public participation on the several process that is going on. But the other day, Honorable Speaker, we heard that a new investor is coming in, and in fact, in the grapevines from the farmers, that they are going to make these existing mills to be collection centers for sugarcane, which is actually putting everybody in jittery. So, Honorable Speaker, we are asking that this be treated with the urgency it deserves so that the public does not lose anything. Thank you.
A response on the same issue of sugar? No, we don't have any something else on the order paper. Responses, education and health. Who is responding to Abdi Shuria? Is Shuria in the house? Okay. Oh yes, agriculture. Where is the chairman? Ferdinand, yes, you are a member of that committee. Can you discuss with your chairman and bring a response?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I think
after recess.
It's very important after the recess. May I get the information so I can be able to have a meeting? Because sugar is very important, and I think we even made a tour in that region. So I think we can give a response after recess.
Thank you.
2 weeks after recess.
Education and health. Is Honorable Shuria in the house? He's not. Were you ready with the response?
I'm ready. Honorable Speaker.
It is a joint statement.
Yes, it is a joint response. Honorable Speaker, as directed by your office, we did had a joint sitting with the Health Committee, and we co-chaired with Honorable Nyekal.
But to be fair to Shuria,
yes.
Let's...
But I want to give a brief, because we have no report as of now, because we expect to bring the report in the next, immediately we are back from recess.
Is indeed better to do it when he's here?
So maybe...
do it tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Clerk, release this for tomorrow morning so that that explanation can be given. Administration and internal security to Innocent Mugabe. Tongoyo. You have a statement to give? Your response to a request by Innocent Mugabe, MP for Likuyani.
I'm ready, Honorable Speaker.
Ready? Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, with your permission, maybe before I respond to this, I've got another 3 statements that were responded to by the CS when he appeared before the committee.
Yes.
One by Honorable Daniel Manduku, who was also in the meeting with the CS. Another one by Honorable Ali Wario, who was equally there. And another one by Honorable Victor Koech. And I will kindly ask to have it tabled.
Are they in the, you're just tabling?
Yeah, just tabling.
Those ones you can just table.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Then proceed to...
On response to the statement being sought by Honorable Member of Parliament for Likuyani constituency, Honorable Innocent Mugabe, on the clashes between the police and the residents of the Likuyani constituency. And in particular, the Member of Parliament sought the following information: a report on the status of investigation into the death of Sydney Fugigi Culture and the reasons for the delay in arresting Mr. Simon Ashibira immediately to prevent the public agitation and unrest in the community. 2, a report of the investigation into the death of Ms. Dorcas Naliaka Wanjala and Ms. Sarah Toshia, and including the step taken to apprehend the police officers who used the live ammunition against unarmed civilians. Thirdly, the measures put in place to prevent the use of live ammunition during demonstration and the adoption of the alternative non-lethal methods of crowd control. And 4, the step being taken by the ministry to compensate the families of the deceased person. And I want to respond as follows. On that March, during a local funeral event, a disagreement arose between Simeon Ashibira, the community policing chairman of Zoia Division, and the late Sydney Fugigi, a grave digger. The conflict was triggered when the family of the deceased expressed concern about the Sydney's presence, alleging that he might steal from their guest based on past experience, and consequently they requested the Ashibira to be removed from the homestead. The Sydney left the event visibly unsettled and disgruntled. On the 4th March, the Sydney visited Ashibira's home to confront him over the perceived embarrassment at the funeral, and a heated exchange ensued, during which Sydney allegedly made threatening remarks, prompting Ashibira to forcefully remove him from his compound. And reports indicate that this act of removal resulted in an alleged assault on the Sydney. Later, Sydney was found unconscious approximately 3 kilometers from the Ashibira's home, suffering from a head injury and bleeding. Police officers, with the help of the members of the public, rushed him to Mabushi Health Center for initial retreatment before referring him to the Kitale County Referral, and unfortunately succumbed to his injuries on the 9th. Following the incident, Simon Ashibira, age 75, and his son, Victor Ashibira, age 42, who is known to be mentally unstable, were taken into police custody and arraigned in court. On the 10th, Butali Law Court approved their remand at Likoni Police Station for 21 days, pending the completion of his investigation. A postmortem examination conducted on the 20th at MTRH Eldoret confirmed that Sydney Fugigi died due to head trauma caused by a blunt object, and the case is pending before the court. On the second question, the death of Sydney Fugigi provoked outrage among residents who blamed Simon Ashibira, a 47-year-old Luya male and a community policing chairman of Zoia Division, for the assault that led to his demise. Approximately 100 irate members of the community gathered and made a procession toward the Ashibira's homestead with the intent to kill him and his family before setting his house on fire. Police officers from Likuyani sub-county swiftly responded to the scene to contain the situation. Upon arrival, the police attempted to engage the crowd through dialogue, but the situation escalated as the mob grew more violent, hurling stones at the police officers in an effort to prevent them from protecting the targeted family. In an attempt to disperse the hostile crowd, the officers fired blank rounds, but they were quickly overwhelmed. Reinforcement from Moi Bridge Police Station was called in, successfully facilitating the evacuation of Ashibira and his family. The evacuation further agitated the crowd, which then turned its aggression toward the officers, injuring several in the process. Additionally, 4 brick houses were torched and property of unknown value belonging to the Ashibira and his family was looted by the enraged mob. During the altercation, police officers fired both blank and the live rounds and multiple tear gas canisters. As a result, 2 female adults, Sarah Boez, 21, and Dorcas Naliaka, 25, sustained vital injuries. Several government vehicles were also damaged in the chaos, including a Matunda police station, Ford Ranger, GKB 149Y, with a smashed windscreen and damaged doors. An APS Likuyani Land Cruiser with a smashed windscreen and dented driver's door. And the DCC Likuyani Land Cruisers GKA 41H with a shattered windscreen and a dented passenger's door. The injured police officers were taken to various hospitals, treated, and later discharged in stable condition. The bodies of the deceased were taken to the MTRH mortuary in Eldoret, where post-mortem examination were conducted. Investigation into the vital injuries of the Sarah, Boaz, and Dorcas are ongoing, led by the Kakamega County Criminal Investigation Officer. Additionally, all firearms issued to the officers on duty that day during the incident has been collected for ballistic analysis at the DCI Forensic Laboratory, where the results are still pending. Upon conclusion of the investigation, the officers who will be found capable of any offense related to the unfortunate vital killing of the deceased persons will be arraigned in court to face appropriate charges. On the third question, Honorable Speaker, to prevent use of live ammunition during demonstration and promote the adoption of alternative non-lethal methods of crowd control, the National Police Service has put measures in place with aim to minimize the use of live ammunition while ensuring effective crowd management, safeguarding both public safety and the right of demonstration. And they include, of course, several of them: policy and legal framework, the training and capacity building. That's what I'm doing, Honorable Speaker. Deployment of non-lethal equipment, improvement of command and control, enhancement, public engagement, and community policing. And Honorable Speaker, on the last question, on the step being taken by the ministry, is that the ministry has no vote. That is on the compensation of the deceased. Honorable Speaker, unfortunately, we don't have a vote for the compensation of the victim. And I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Innocent Mugabe, are you satisfied?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. But I must say that the statement is not satisfactory at all. First, from the incident, the young man Sydney was assaulted on 3rd, and the people who took him to hospital are the police. And the police did nothing to arrest the person who assaulted Sydney. And they knew that person, and that person continued walking freely in the community until 9th, when Sydney passed on. It was prudent for the police to arrest the assaulter as Sydney goes to hospital.
The assailant.
The assailant. As Sydney was taken to hospital. And by the mere fact that this person was not arrested and no action was taken against him, when Sydney died, that is when the community reacted. So my question is, why didn't the police arrest Mr. Ashibira? And they knew that he's the one who had assaulted Sydney, to wait until Sydney dies to escalate the matters. So they have not explained on that part and the action that will be taken against the people in charge. Number two, we had quite a number of police officers who came to manage the crowd. He has explained that the crowd was for around only 100 people. Then why use live ammunition on 2 young girls who are not even part of the crowd that was demonstrating? And even the community know the policeman who shot the 2 ladies. So when you tell us about ballistic analysis and all that, to us we don't take it kindly, because the person who shot the ladies is known. Why are you not taking action against that police officer? Number 2, even if you're doing ballistic analysis, how long does the analysis take? And as we speak these are lives lost, families are bereaved, and we are talking about some analysis that is taking ages. No action has been taken against the police officers, the police officer who shot on the two ladies. Thank you.
Umesikia vile umeulizwa? Unaweza kujibu?
Yeah, Mheshimiwa Speaker, and I think that is a report as presented to us by the ministry. Maybe I can able to sort a follow-up question, a clarification
Has
on the
anybody
issue
been
raised.
charged out of this incident? Innocent Mugabe, has anybody been arraigned in court out of this?
Yeah.
Give him the mic.
Yes, Mr. Simon Ashibira and his son were arrested.
And they have been taken to court?
They were taken to court.
And there's a case pending?
Yes.
So I will be reluctant to encourage any further discussions in case you prejudice the prosecution of the criminal case. What do you think?
But
you have made the point by highlighting the issue. Yeah, but if it's a matter that is now pending before a criminal court, it's up to you.
You know, there are two matters.
Yes.
One for Sydney, the assailant has been taken to court. But
Yes.
for the two ladies, they were shot by a police officer through live ammunition.
Who has not been taken action
Yes,
against?
there's no action that has been taken on that front.
Yes, Tomboyo?
Honorable Speaker, I first want to appreciate that.
Did the ladies die or they were just injured?
No, they died.
They died.
They died.
From the report, they died. I think the part that is not complete is the issue of the police officers being arraigned in court. And I think it's probably waiting the ballistic to confirm the rifle that discharged the bullet that killed the deceased. So, Honorable Speaker, maybe we give it a bit of time, and maybe once we resume again, we can sort maybe a follow-up response to the same.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to make a very general comment that I think there should be something wrong with the police that when you call the police, like what happened in Mikoris and what happened in this case, where the police, there's no discipline at all. I think police are just acting haphazardly. I don't know what we can do to have discipline so that if they are called upon to quell any disturbances, they are orderly. And from what you are saying is that somebody just haphazardly shot. What happened in Kurikol where 5 people are killed is just because they were just haphazard. Mr. Speaker, I think we should do something, and the police force must actually be disciplined enough to quell whatever disturbance they are in a place, other than having, whenever they go, they are going to kill people. I don't know how we can go about it, but I think I'm personally getting very disturbed that this, if we don't have to say something about it, is getting out of hand. So Speaker.
Bowen, on the same issue? Yes. Bowen?
Mr. Speaker, mine also is just a general comment, Mr. Speaker. We have seen, I don't know, Mr. Speaker, we need to have the chair of security to seriously sit down with our heads of police, the IG and the security team, Mr. Speaker, because there is a serious disconnect between the people, the citizens, and police, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some few months ago, you saw a crowd of people actually chopping a hand of a policeman somewhere in Narok because of an accident or an incident which happened somewhere. You saw yesterday, there were 5 people who were killed by police. The case of in Lukuyani and many other parts in the country, Mr. Speaker. I think there is need for a police to come up with a policy on how they can have the policemen work with the Wananchi very well. And then number 2, Mr. Speaker, we need also to sensitize our people to respect the law enforcement officers, Mr. Speaker, because I look at it that at a point where a policeman is threatened and his life is in danger, that's a time they use their firearm. And by so doing, Mr. Speaker, sometimes even killing innocent people. So as a country, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to look on how we can have our police work together and provide, security and service to our people, and also on the side of the citizens to obey the law enforcement officers.
Yes, Oundo, on the same issue.
Honorable Speaker, what happened in Honorable Mugabe's place, Likuyani, is a cultural practice amongst the Luya called, in where I come from, it's called Osola, which in say translated means to revenge against a confirmed assailant who causes death. Honorable Speaker, I had a similar crisis in my constituency about 3 weeks ago. Luckily enough, we didn't lose any lives, but we lost a lot of property. And there was no even injury to the police. Only 8 policemen were dispatched out of a crowd of about 200 people. That's why we are saying that probably the police service needs to study the cultural context of such kind of eventualities and know how to manage. Because sending 8 policemen to control 200 people who are intent on exerting revenge, you are actually putting the life of the policemen in danger, and you are not protecting the affected families. It's a debate that the police service needs to have, because the level of anger by the people against anything looking like government is so heavy, is so deep, that as a country must have that discourse at the earliest moment possible. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, and the chair is listening, we are going to have fatalities, both from the civilians and the police, whenever any confrontation, any issue arises. It's a debate that we cannot put under the carpet. We must have it now and not later. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm actually listening to Honorable Oundo, and he's saying this is a debate we may have before there are fatalities. The day after tomorrow, I'm burying my cousin, who is a police officer who was beaten by the public in Bomet. So it's actually a reality. It's called Samuel Orina. We are burying him, and we buried my uncle last week. The same home. And Mr. Speaker, there were sent 2 people, 2 policemen.
You must also have seen a policeman under excruciating pain with an arrow lodged in his head.
Yes. You can imagine, Mr.
These
Speaker.
policemen are also your children.
Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, you find that in reality this happens. We must find a way of dealing with this, because normally in the house we talk like it's something that happens somewhere. Me, I'm telling you, my first cousin, we are burying him the day after tomorrow. He was killed in Bomet. He was beaten, was left for dead. He went and died of injuries about a week ago. So we need it, something that is no longer theoretical. You need to deal with it seriously.
Tongoyo, you hear that? Yes.
Kindly give me the mic. Honorable Speaker, I really want to associate with the sentiment of the members, but Honorable Speaker, is just fair enough to say that police officers are also human beings. They are fathers, they are wives, and many a times, Honorable Speaker, as much as we normally, it's easy to condemn the police officer when they're in the wrong. Very rarely do we really appreciate and recognize them when they do good. We just see them when they fail. But once, Honorable Speaker, they do right, or of course they do even deterrent of crime, or even those who are actually in our borders to keep us here safe, we hardly appreciate them. That is an unfortunate reality. I'm not defending those rogue officers who may be a little bit go and against their ethics and the provision to kill innocent citizens. But equally, the citizens must at all time, Honorable Speaker, not take the law in their own hand. So that is what I have to say. That is why we have the community policing, so that we can able to close the gap that, does exist, Honorable Speaker.
Sigay. Honorable Sigay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to request you, Mr. Speaker, about a statement I issued. I asked for
You issued or you requested?
I asked for a requested for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives regarding the Kenya Cooperative Creameries in Sotik. Mr. Speaker, this issue has been pending for a very long time, and I'm requesting, Mr. Speaker, that if possible, you can be able to bring forward this.
When did you ask a request
February.
for a statement?
February.
In February, two
Yes.
months ago. Majority Leader is not here. Millie, inform the Chair Agriculture, if possible, to bring the response tomorrow afternoon. It's been pending for 2 months. Next order. Before we go to order number 8. Oh, sorry, we have Chair Broadcasting is in the house. Yes, Nanok. Do you have your statement ready? Give him the mic.
Yes, Speaker, I have it ready.
Yes.
But Speaker, looking at the attendance in this chamber and considering the kind of communication I would want to...
You can do so tomorrow morning.
For sure.
Yes.
As long as there would be good attendance so that most of the members can pick the information.
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceedings are recorded.
Thank you.
Allow Honorable Nanok to issue that statement tomorrow in the morning proceedings. Next. Honorable members, before we go to order number 8, which is a committee of the whole, allow me to give this guidance on proposed amendments to the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025. Honorable members, before the House proceeds to the next order, which is consideration of the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025 and the VAT, Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2025. In the committee of the whole House, I wish to provide guidance with respect to consideration of some of the amendments proposed by individual members. Honorable members, as you are aware, it is now established practice under the Constitution that when considering any matter that has a financial implication, the House is bound by the provisions of Article 114(2) of the Constitution. For clarity, Article 114(2) of the Constitution provides that, and I quote, if, in the opinion of the Speaker, a motion makes provisions for a matter listed in the definition of a money bill, the Assembly may proceed only in accordance with the recommendation of the relevant committee after taking into account the views of the Cabinet Secretary for Finance. In this regard, honorable members, as you will notice that in today's order paper, the member for Funyula, Honorable Dr. Ojambo Oundo, MP, has proposed amendments to the Social Protection Bill Social Protection Bill 2025. He is proposing to amend clauses 2 and 31 and introduce new clauses 30A and 30B in the bill, all relating to establishment functions and membership of social protection committees in each sub-county. I have analyzed these amendments and noted that they contain proposals touching on matters listed in the definition of a money bill pursuant to the provisions of Article 114(2) of the Constitution. This means, honorable members, that such proposal may only be proceeded if there is concurrence of the National Treasury through the Departmental Committee on Social Protection. In the absence of evidence that the amendments were processed in the manner contemplated in Article 114 of the Constitution, the Speaker is left with no choice but to direct that the Committee of the Whole House shall not consider any of the amendments or parts of the amendments that have been published in the order paper without a disclaimer. Honorable members, Committee of the Whole House on the Social Protection Bill 2025 will therefore proceed without referring the proposed amendments by the Honorable Oundo and will be considered as though the amendments have been withdrawn. The House is accordingly guided. Next order. Oundo, unasikia hiyo? Yes. No comment. I've just given direction. I'm not inviting you to comment to that. Next order.
Order number 8, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members. Standing.
Order members, we are in the Committee of the Whole House. We have 2 bills to deal with. One is Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2025. So we start with the Social Protection Bill.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. There is an amendment, Chair. Majority Leader or Chair?
Okay, thank you.
Chair is in the House.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that Clause 3 be amended as indicated on the order paper. Honorable Chair, justification Article 43(3) of the Constitution mandate the state to provide appropriate social security to persons who are unable to support themselves and their dependent. Further, it is not financially tenable to caution all persons in need against risk and contingencies throughout their life cycle as currently provided on the bill.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, I now propose the question that Clause 3 is amended. That Clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Any interest in this? I don't see any interest. Yes, there is interest. Honorable Tom Kajwang, Raraka. Or honorable members, any member who is interested in making comments on the amendments, please go to the intervention. And if you are not interested, please remove your cards. So Honorable Tom Kajwang, please remove your card. Honorable Sarah Korere, Laikipia North, please remove your card. Honorable members, I put the question that Clause 3 as amended be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 3 as amended be part of the bill? As many as of that opinion say aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4 and 5.
I put the question that clause 4 and 5. I propose the question that clause 4 and 5 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 4 and 5 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I propose the question that clause 6 be part of the bill. Chair, you have an amendment.
Yes. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 6 be amended as indicated on the order paper. The justification of this is a replacement of the word may with shall will obligate the county government to implement national government policies on social protection through county-specific registration and strategies as opposed to making it optional as currently provided in the bill.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable James Nikal, do you have interest in this? Let me first of all propose the question. I propose the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Honorable Nikal.
Thank you, Chair. I rise to support this amendment. Social protection, Chair, is actually important. As of now, there is a lot of disconnect between what is happening at national level and at the county level. And actually, there is duplications. So I think this amendment actually will create the link that is required and even give provision for the counties to actually look at ways that they'll do. This is actually more appropriate to them. Therefore, I support.
Thank you, Honorable Nikal. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 6 be amended as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? Honorable members, will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 7 and 8.
I propose the question that clause 7 and 8 be part of the bill. No amendment, so I put the question that clause 7 and 8 be part of the bill. As many as have that opinion say aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
I propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. Honorable Nganga, you have an amendment. Chairperson.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 9 be amended as indicated in the order paper. These amendments seek to ensure that the statutory mandate of existing ministries, department, directorate, state corporation, trust, or other agencies of the government are not interfered with or affected by operation of the National Board for Social Protection.
Thank you, Chair. I now put the question. I now propose the question that clause 9 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Any interest in this? Professor Waudo, member for Funyula.
Chair, the amendment under B does not clearly come out clearly, Honorable Chair, because I really don't foresee, probably the Chair could explain a little bit, what problem are they trying to cure? Because by saying that despite Section 1, nothing in this Act confers upon the board the power to perform functions that are under the mandate of other government ministries, departments, trusts, or agencies. I cannot fathom how a board can undertake a function that's not within their remit. Yet, I don't understand which other ministry or department that has got the powers or the authority to undertake social protection services. Because the way the Act is framed.
I think you have made your point. You've made
Thank
your
you,
point. Honorable Chair, would you kindly explain the
Thank you very
rationale
much.
for 9B?
Thank you very much. We needed to clarify, Honorable Chair, because we see most of the time there are boards that are, when they're executing their mandate and they refer that mandate is being undertaken by another board on another department. I was sitting with the Committee of Social Protection with Honorable Nikal, and we realized even with the department that we oversight, there are those ones who are oversighting other departments that they are not supposed to be. So this one is creating that problem to specifically deal with their mandates.
Thank you. I give a chance now to the Honorable Member for Seme.
Chair, this is, I rise to support this because it's the definition of social protection. To a large extent, when we talk of social protection, people actually see cash transfers. People don't realize that even SHA, health insurance, is social protection. Agricultural subsidy is a social protection. School feeding is also social protection. So without putting that, but I think there is also further on means for cooperation without bringing that. So that conflict always occurs if one is not careful.
Thank you.
I support.
Thank you, Honorable Nyikal. I now put the question that clause 9 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. I will now put the question that clause 9 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clause 10.
I propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. Mover, Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 10 be amended as indicated on the order paper. This inclusion of the Principal Secretary dealing with children matters in the board is critical in ensuring that this vulnerable yet significant and populous proportion of the nation is accorded due regards and consideration, considering that matters affecting children welfare are broad, delicate, and precise.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. There be no interest. I now put the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. I now put the question that clause 10 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27.
Thank you. I propose the question that clauses 11 to 27 be part of the bill. There being no amendments, I now put the question that clauses 11 to 27 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clause 28.
I propose the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. Chair, you have an amendment.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 28 be amended as indicated on the order paper. The justification is most caregivers who give care to children, persons with disability, and other vulnerable persons have no source of income since they are engaged with the vulnerable care receivers, typically on a daily basis, and as such are deserving of social protection intervention.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 18 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I see the honorable members, I would like to take that again. I propose the question that clause 28 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. The Honorable Professor Oundo.
Chair, it might be well-intentioned, but it has got all the hallmark of fraud being committed. You will have a hallmark of people who will become professional caregivers just to live and hang on the vulnerable persons. Unpaid, deficient, and supported caregivers. Already, if he's deserving to be, for social protection, why can the so-called caregiver and supported and paid deficient caregiver become a beneficiary of social protection? I foresee here a situation, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, of those guys who will just hang around these people and pretend and purport to be caregivers without any formal training or without even being in need for social protection. I want to ask the Chair to relook at it. This, we are setting a dangerous precedence. Thank you, Chair.
Well, let's give other people a chance. The Honorable David Bowen, member for Marakwet East.
Madam Chair, with due respect to my good friend, the Honorable Chair Alice, this amendment is not very good, Madam Chair, because, like the Honorable Undo have just said, this is subject to abuse. Unless it is clearly defined elsewhere, these caregivers, Honorable Chair, I don't think the Honorable Chair, Honorable Alice, if you can drop this amendment, and then we can relook it later when it is clearly defined.
The Honorable James Nikal.
The origin of this is when we're dealing with severely disabled persons. Actually, at the beginning, the onset was, who are you supporting? The caregiver or the severely disabled person? That generated the issue of caregivers. And I believe in this law, there is a clear definition. And in the procedure, I think we should make sure that in the procedure and the regulations, a caregiver is defined, is one person. It's not all the people who sit with you. It's a one person who is taking care of you. That is what is intended here. I support it with that provision. Otherwise, it can be abused, but with that provision, it can work.
Thank you, Honorable Nikal. I would like to give a final opportunity to the Chair before I put the question.
Honorable Chair, when it comes to the regulations, we are going to regulate and define who is a caregiver. Because at the end of the day, what we saw, Chair, these people are always giving care to the vulnerable, but nobody even cares about them. If we can define who they are, and they are trained. By the way, they are trained, because you cannot deal with a child with cerebral palsy, or you deal with a child who is totally disabled, and yet you are not yet trained to do so. So these people, nobody talks about them, and that's why we are talking about them in this bill.
Honorable members, I'll now go ahead and put the question that clause 28 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 28 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I propose the question that clause 29 be part of the bill. We have an amendment. Chairperson, Honorable Nganga.
Honorable Chair, I beg clause 29 be amended as indicated on the order paper. The Honorable Chair, this amendment is meant to ensure that the need of persons with disabilities such as autism, cerebral palsy, or any other form of disability, as well as others vulnerable persons, access free, subsidized essential drugs, personal care, goods such as diapers, and various assistive devices, as it means to mitigate their varied circumstances.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I do not see any interest in this, so I'll go ahead and put the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 29 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 30.
I propose the question that clause 30 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that clause 30 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
I propose the question that clause 31 be part of the bill. We have an amendment, Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 31 be amended as indicated on the order paper. This clause, Honorable Chair, this amendment is meant to compel the board to respond to a social protection application within a set timeline of 60 days. Currently, there is no timeline set in this bill. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I do not see any interest. I now put the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. I now put the question that clause 31 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clause 32.
I propose the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clause 33.
I propose the question that clause 33 be part of the bill. We have an amendment. Chairperson?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 33 be amended as indicated on the order paper. Honorable Chair, this amendment is meant to accord social protection applicants who may wish to appeal the board's decision rejecting their application opportunity to approach the Cabinet Secretary as an optional appeal avenue or appeal directly to the High Court. This is because many vulnerable persons may not be sufficiently resourceful to make a direct appeal to the High Court due to the existing vulnerability. An application whose appeal to the Cabinet Secretary is responsible for social protection will be at liberty to further appeal to the High Court if the applicant so wishes. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I now put the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. I now put the question that clause 33 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clauses 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56.
I propose the question that clauses 34 to 56 be part of the bill. There be no amendments. I now put the question that clauses 34 to 56 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
The schedule.
I propose the question that the schedule be part of the bill. There is an amendment? There is no amendment. I now put the question that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There is no amendment, so I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Title. Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. Honorable Chairperson. Understand it is the majority leader. Please proceed.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Social Protection Bill National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025 and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I now put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Members, we are now going to move to the next bill, which is now going to be handled by the Majority Leader. The Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2025. Majority Leader.
Honorable Chair, I want to beg your indulgence because having consulted the Chair of the Finance Committee, they are currently in a meeting with the Kenya Revenue Authority, still deliberating on some of the effects of this, the amendments that were proposed in this amendment bill. And I therefore beg your indulgence that we do adjourn committee on the consideration of that particular bill until the Finance Committee finalizes with their report.
Honorable members, the request by the Majority Leader is assented to.
Yeah, the chairperson to report to the House.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and approved the same with amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The mover to move agreement with the report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the social...
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I propose the question. This House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025. Oh, there is no interest. For the convenience of the House, the question will be put to a future date when it will be next scheduled by the House Business Committee for consideration. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023.
Is that Honorable T.J. Kajwang moving on behalf of the committee? Ranking member.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, I have the pleasure to have been delegated by the Chair of Transport and Infrastructure to move the bill as in the order paper for the discharge of the Senate Amendment Bill, which is before us. Mr. Speaker, we want to create a precedence on how this house can relate to the other house. A bill which emanates from the other house.
The Honorable TJ Kajwang, the House has not had you move before you start debating. So would you begin by moving? The order paper. Kindly pass the order paper to Honorable TJ Kajwang is an old member.
Yes. And obviously, Honorable Kangogo cannot pretend to know more of the standing orders than I. But I think it is because I did not have the order paper in my hands. And so, Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 127.5, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the motion for the discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate number 38 of 2023. That notwithstanding the provisions of Order 127.5 and taking into consideration the request from the Senate for withdrawal of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, this House resolves to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023 from the second reading. I so move. Mr. Speaker, the gist of this motion is simply to create a legal infrastructure on how we conduct business in the other house and in this house. A bill emanating from that house, having been processed and considered and passed by the Senate, is referred to this house for reciprocal consideration. When it lands in this house, it ceases to be the property of the Senate. It is the property of this house. And how to deal with it and how to process it remains the province of this house under the relevant standing orders. But something happened in the process by which this bill was processed that is new in this jurisprudence, that a member having Honorable Boni Halwale, who is a majority leader in that house, proposed a bill as an individual member's bill. Then when it landed in this house, then he sought by way of letter to withdraw that bill when it was in this house. Now, Speaker, faced with that circumstance, did not, for want of creating relationship, having a mutual relationship between that house and this house, in the Speaker's communication, which was read the other day, found that he was very sympathetic to that member, but that member of the Senate could not withdraw what is before this house. And so, in the best interest and in the best advice of the Speaker, that therefore we have a motion before us so that this house should express itself one way or the other. Because we do not have the standing orders that is allowing a senator who has already processed his bill to come and withdraw something before us. That can only come by action of the majority leader. Now, Honorable Speaker, we need to structure, we need to regulate this border business. Everybody accepts. Because it is a big problem, it is a time bomb in our hands. You go to several jurisdictions, I was in Doha last week, you don't see a single border on the streets. Nothing, not even one. except for the service providers like the e-hailing and things that help the society do their things. But you go to India, there are all those boda on the streets. In fact, somebody has a whistle, the traffic officer has a whistle and puts a line to be able to stop the two-wheelers. Now that is happening here in Kenya. And it is going in almost in all jurisdictions in East Africa. You go to Uganda, in the neighborhood in Kampala, there are all those boda. The next you go to 9th floor in Kenyatta Hospital. It is a hospital for bones broken by motorcycles. You drive along these roads, it is more dangerous on your left-hand side than on the right-hand side, because a motorcycle will appear somehow on the left-hand side before you know it. And so everybody understands that we need to regulate this sector. But on the other side of the flip coin, it is the source of revenue of our young people. It is also an employment facility for our young people to be employed, gainfully employed. They get revenue, they get their hard-earned living as a result of this. So that is not disputed. But it is high time that there is a law that contains the whole of this. The Traffic Act does very little to be able to control the motorcycle boda. And so we are agreed. But the point is that we need legislation. And so we support the fact that there is a legislation before us, but even if there is a legislation before us, can it be processed in a proper manner? And so I have come this afternoon to support the discharge of this bill so that we in Transport Committee can take it up and look at what is good in it so that we can turn it into law and we can get the regulations. And more importantly, we must also have the input of the the executive to give us the policy behind it so that we create a law that conforms both to the policy and to the things that help the society. I'm told that Honorable Senator Boni Kalwale found himself with a hot potato in his hands. He was doing a good legislation, but at some point, there are a few drivers out there, or a few motorcycle associations out there, which threatened him that if he processed that legislation, then he would be voted out. Or I'm told that the senator, he aspires to be the governor of some county. So just a mere few people in his hands made him throw this legislation and write to the speaker to withdraw. What kind of governor would that be if he was given the chance? Just a few motorcycle riders making him throw a whole legislation, And so we must do our role, which is the national, we must regulate this industry. And so we want to take it up. And in a short while, I can assure the leader of majority that in a short while, the cabinet will issue a cabinet paper authorizing us to be able to bring this legislation before the assembly and process it. We will not be intimidated as the member for the senator for Kakamega. We will not be intimidated. And between me and the leader of majority, we do not want to be governors of any county. And so we will do this duty without all those considerations. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish to support and move that members accept with a lot of humility to discharge this bill. If for no anything, just to let Alwale know that there is no procedure in the standing order for withdrawing a bill once it is here. He wants to usurp powers which he does not have, to usurp powers in the assembly when he is in the Senate. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I support and I move, I propose, and I think the leader of majority will be kind enough to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of majority, hoping you don't fear Boda, right?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, fear and me are never in the same sentence, Honorable Speaker. But allow me, Honorable Speaker, to second this motion by the Committee for Transport and Infrastructure to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, which, Honorable Speaker, as many members may have noted, even the name itself, I don't know, I know Dr. Khalwale is a medical doctor, but English, I think, is he should have borrowed some better English from this assembly. But as a mover has said, this being a bill, a private member's bill that came from the Senate, and Senator Khalwale, who was a proposer of this bill, has written seeking to withdraw. But as the Honorable Kajwang has said, and as was noted by the Speaker in his communication, there is no process of a senator withdrawing anything from this House. Whether he is a sponsor of a bill or motion that has been processed and finalized within the Senate and it comes to this House, it is only the motions of this House and our procedures that can then discharge or withdraw such a bill. And therefore, let it be a lesson not just to Senator Khalwale but to the other senators that if you want to propose legislation, be man enough to be able to bear the consequences of the choices that you make, because we've previously been told that choices have consequences. Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with the mover, Honorable Kajwang, that if you intend to be a governor of a county, you will be required to make hard decisions and the right decisions on behalf of the people. That is what leadership calls for. As a leader, time and again you'll be called upon to make decisions, some that may not be popular with the masses, but are the right decisions. And how I wish Senator Boni Khalwale had allowed leadership to take charge of his decisions other than political expediency. Because the decision to withdraw this bill by the Honorable Senator Boni Khalwale is more of political expediency and playing to the gallery than being a leader. And probably the people of Kakamega are the ones to judge whether that is somebody they would trust to lead other than politic. Because it is very easy to politic and shout in funerals, in political rallies, but to offer leadership is a different issue altogether, Honorable Speaker. And that's why I want to agree with the Honorable TJ Kajwang that there is need to offer leadership in regulating how our transport sector, right from our trains under Kenya Railways, to our buses and matatu sector, all the way down to the use of private vehicles, and including borders, Honorable Speaker. Because it is chaotic to drive on Kenyan roads, Honorable Speaker. As Honorable TJ says, it is more dangerous to check what is on your right than on your left today. Because people overtake, you expect that people will be overtaking on your right because we drive on the left, we are left, it's called what? Right-hand drive cars, and we keep left on our roads. But people overtake from the left, from your right, join the roads from every other corner, overtake at all manner of places, including blind spots, Honorable Speaker. Passengers on motorcycles, and you'll be shocked, Honorable Speaker, somebody the other day narrated to us in the House Business Committee how he witnessed 3 policemen, and shockingly, traffic policemen, spying on passengers on a border. Those are the people who are supposed to be enforcing the law to make sure that every border has one pylon passenger, Honorable Speaker. But you find policemen are the ones flouting the same laws, Honorable Speaker, that they are supposed to be enforcing. Therefore, that tells you the need to have proper legislation and to ensure that the same laws that are there are enforced, Honorable Speaker. Because, Honorable Speaker, if we allow the chaos that are in the public sector today to continue, and you've seen, Honorable Speaker, I saw sometime last year or early this year, the hue and cry that was there over a matatu that was said to be owned by a son of a prominent politician in this country. One matatu. And it becomes very fashionable to bash that one matatu, a thing that was plying either the Gong or Rongai route, not even knowing whether it was owned by the son to the president, because it was said it was owned to the son of the president, who is a student, by the way, who is in school. But because that was being sold as that, everybody on social media was there admonishing. Remember, last year, Honorable Speaker, I saw an incident where a lady collided, I think, with a boda somewhere in Kitengela. And Kenyans will recall the chaotic scenes of her car being vandalized by other boda riders, her being assaulted, including police officers who were in the vicinity being stoned as they tried to protect that driver, Honorable Speaker. That chaos, that scenario of chaos cannot be allowed to continue being so. But we have a duty as leaders to also protect the livelihoods of our young people who are making an income out of the boda sector. And we must protect them. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with Honorable TJ Kajwang that the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure in this House must take it upon themselves, one, to make sure that there is proper order in the public transport sector, not just borders, the matatu sector. Many of us miss the Michuki days, and I hope CS Davis Chirchir is listening. It took the late CS Michuki less than 2 weeks to create order in what was otherwise a very disorderly sector. But after Michuki left us, we are slowly creeping back to the old days. I remember in my village, we had small matatus we used to call ngovis, small Mitsubishi Colts that would carry close to 30 people. But with Meshuki rules, that Colt was only licensed to carry 12 people. Now we have Nissan Matatus. They were called Ngovi. Or Tongovi. I may not know what it means in other communities, Honorable Speaker, from your reaction and that of Honorable TJ Kajog, it probably has another connotation where you come from. But it's because they were very rickety cars and small, and we used to be packed there like sacks of potatoes. But when the former Minister Mishuki came in and created order to ensure that we had safety belts, but today, Honorable Speaker, just get into any matatu, how many matatus have safety belts today? How many of them adhere to the speed limits that were set? Yet every day, Kenyans are crying over accidents and losing their families and relatives and friends through road accidents. Sadly, Honorable Speaker, I'm told only this week or last week, there was a headline in one of the dailies where now border accidents have overtaken all other forms of accidents in terms of fatalities. Borders are killing more Kenyans and maiming many more than matatus, more than buses, more than trains, more than aeroplanes, Honorable Speaker. We have a responsibility to do that which is right but may not be popular, to protect the lives and livelihoods of our young people. Because the people who are dying out of these border accidents are not old people, Honorable Speaker. It is young people who are the riders. It is other young people who are passengers, Honorable Speaker. Not to say that older people are not dying from these accidents. Sadly, today I remember the late Honorable Hassan Kulo, the late Member of Parliament for Banisa. The people of Banisa constituency today do not have a representative and have stayed without a representative for close to a year now. Why? Out of a motor accident occasioned by a Boda. Why? Because we don't adhere to the rules that are there. You are carrying, I remember the case of the late Honorable Kulo. I think it was gas cylinders or some cylinders that were, or mitungis that were tied onto the border on both sides. And it's actually the luggage or whatever cylinders that were tied to the border that hit him and led to his death, Honorable Speaker. That may be a member of parliament, and we may think, Honorable Speaker, or probably Honorable Boni Khalwala may imagine that it cannot get to him because he's a member of parliament. He has a privilege of having a big car. But you never know, Honorable Speaker. We all walk on these roads. We drive on the same roads with the same border riders. If we do not create order, we will only have ourselves to blame. We must not wait for that time of regret. We must do that which is right. Have laws that will regulate the entire public transport sector, Honorable Speaker. Look at our trains, Honorable Speaker. At times, you only thank God during rush hour on some routes, I don't want to name many of those routes, where passengers are even riding on top of the train, not in the train, not hanging on the train, on top of the train. And you imagine in some places, the train goes through tunnels and bridges, and people have to keep ducking as it goes through the bridge. Where is order, Honorable Speaker, in this sector? Do we still have a cabinet secretary in charge of this sector? Yet we have a whole state department in charge of transport. How many Kenyans know who the PS for transport is? Honorable Speaker. I am certain if I asked even members here who the principal secretary in charge of transport is, they do not know. You can hear members asking. That is why we miss the late John Mishuki. How I wish Honorable Senator Khalwale would get the balls of the late Honorable John Mishuki. But we live to do what is right, and I do pray that the Committee of Transport and Infrastructure, which the Honorable TJ Kajwang is a ranking member of, will act to make sure that we have order in the entire sector, Honorable Speaker, so that when we speak about telematics in traffic control in Nairobi and other urban centers, systems alone will not deal with the problem. It has to be systems and our own habits as we drive, as we walk, as we ride on these roads, Honorable Speaker. But if we, whatever manner of traffic control systems that we put in the city and other areas, if we do not have the discipline to use them, Honorable Speaker, they will all be investments in futility and a waste of public resources unless we change our attitudes, our behavior, and ensure that all these public sector modes of transport from border, matatus, private vehicles to the train are well and properly regulated. And I look forward to the day that this committee will bring as a law that will serve to create some order in this area, Honorable Speaker. But with that, I beg to second the discharge of this bill by the Honorable Senator for Kakamega, who I would also urge next time, before you sit and formulate legislation, think through and decide whether you want to do that which is right or that which is popular. If you want to be popular all the time throughout your political career, then don't seek a leadership position. Go and sell ice cream. That one you will make people happy all the time. Otherwise, in this business that we are in, we're in the business where at times you will make people happy. At times, they will be unhappy with you. But if you are doing the right thing, at the end of the day, they will come to realize that that which you are doing was in their best interest. And that is why they trusted you with leadership, so that you lead and they follow. And you lead so that you get the best out of them and for them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Honorable members, I now propose the question that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 127.5 and taking into consideration the request of the Senate for withdrawal of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulations Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, this House resolved to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, from the second reading. The Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oundo, the MP for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also stand here to support the motion that has been moved by our good colleague in respect to discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 3 of 2023. And Honorable Speaker, let me go on record that Busia Town and Busia County was actually the starting point of Boda. And it started with a bicycle, what we would carry people along with a bicycle. And the Honorable Speaker, by then, a bicycle was more valued more than a car. If you never owned a bicycle, even if you owned a Mercedes-Benz, nobody took you serious. They thought you had not encompassed the culture and aspiration of the people. Honorable Speaker, the motorcycle has revolutionized transport in this country. The Boda sector has revolutionized transport in this country, has made transport more accessible, and has allowed people to reach various destinations he thought that they would not have reached because of poor roads. Honorable Speaker, and because of the traffic jam in this country, especially in Nairobi, motorcycle comes in handy in terms of speed and ability to reach a destination that others would have taken you much longer to get there because of traffic jam. Honorable Speaker, Boda is one of the biggest employer of both the youth, some old people, and people who probably had no other avenue of making a living. That's a fact. Honorable Speaker, Boda riders are our sons and daughters, are members of this society, that whichever way we look at it, we must find a mechanism to protect their business, to protect their jobs, yet ensure there is safety. Honorable Speaker, I have had the privilege to teach at a university in Rwanda, Kigali, for almost 1 year. And Honorable Speaker, forget any other thing. What they talk about cleanliness, what about Kigali and Rwanda as a whole, is the discipline of the they were called Boda riders. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, I want to reiterate again, it's a sector, if well regulated, if the players are well disciplined, then Honorable Speaker, is a sector that can transform the economy of this country tremendously. I've also had the privilege of traveling outside the country, in Western Europe or in the US, and indeed I have never seen a motorcycle being a means of public transport, because their transport system is well elaborate, is well developed, and is well regulated. Honorable Speaker, the need to regulate the industry cannot be gainsaid. That is a fact. And I had thought that by the time our good friend, the bullfighter, is a bullfighter, and a bullfighter does not fear anything. By the time the bullfighter thought and drafted this law, he must have applied his mind, both politically and coming from a medical field, being an academia, he must have looked at what are the consequences. Sometimes, Honorable Speaker, it is a terrible waste of public resources to go all this way, to go through all that process, and then when it's at the tail end, nevertheless that is allowed under the standing order under the law, you come and withdraw the bill. I do not have the privilege of having read his letter seeking to withdraw and what were the reasons given for withdrawal. Regardless the reason given for withdrawal, it is a terrible waste of public resources. And when I meet him, Honorable Speaker, I will tell him as much, that we felt there's a terrible waste of resources, being a person who stood in this house and said, for corruption to end, Kimunya must go. Failure to take this bill to the logical end is a form of corruption in a way, because it's misuse of public resources. Honorable Speaker, it is important as a community, as a country, we must open dialogue with the Boda riders. Honorable Speaker, in the interim, as we look at opening dialogue, as we look at ways of ensuring we put it in order, as the majority leader has said, we have a State Department of Transport. We have traffic department under the police, National Police Service. Any failure, any problems, any chaos in the Boda sector, the two state departments, the two state organs are squarely to blame. NTSA is there, State Department is there, Traffic Police Department is there. The law is there. The rules are there. Why they don't enforce the rules? Is it because the Boda riders are too powerful, are too politically important that nobody wishes, nobody dares to touch them? Honorable Speaker, when you go to most hospitals, the injury section, 90% or 99% invariably are accidents as a result of Boda. Something is seriously wrong somewhere, which as a society we must address. We had hoped this law would address. Honorable Speaker, it got to a point where my own constituency, Funyula, that many times, most of the robberies at night were transported, the criminals were transported by Boda riders. It will go to a point where we had to have a discussion with them and told them after a certain period at a certain time in the night, do not transport anybody, whether somebody you do not know. You can only attend to emergency, and those must be genuine emergencies from a neighbor that you very well know. As a result, Honorable Speaker, by the very way they operate, they are also extremely exposed to danger. They're exposed to criminals, they're exposed to theft, they're even exposed to death. Many, Honorable Speaker, have actually had their motorcycles snatched from them when they're escorting clients. Many of them have been killed for resisting attempt to steal their motorcycles. Some of them have been mistaken to be robbers. As they kill and lynch a robber, they also kill them. So it's in their best interest, Honorable Speaker, that the industry must be regulated. You might want to run it on lawlessness because it gives you the standing, some kind of preeminence. But eventually, that lawlessness will catch up with you. Will catch up with you. It will not be one way. So we want to beseech them that through their national association, and many times, Honorable Speaker, during campaigns, they're given very prominent roles to play. I remember even the last presidential campaign, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade paraded them all over. The hustlers, the downtrodden, tutakaa tunakaa na nyinyi kwa meza tukipanga mipango ya serikali. Now they have become a thorn in the flesh. We need, for their own safety, they need to be regulated. And again, Honorable Speaker, as they cause accidents and injure passengers, they equally get injured. Many of them end up maimed forever. So, Honorable Speaker, the Boni Halwale bill might be lost because he requested so, but we want to urge the State Department for Transport, the saga called NTSA, the National Police Service, to really find ways and means of reining and regulating this sector so that its economic influence can be felt, but security, safety must be paramount. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
The Honorable Kangogo Bowen. He will be followed by the Honorable Peter Irungu Kiungi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the motion to discharge the public transport, that is the motorcycle bill, the Senate bill number 38 of 2023 from the second reading of this House. And Honorable Speaker, many of my colleagues, including the mover, the Honorable T.J. Kachwang, and the little majority who seconded, together with the Dr. Oundo, Mr. Speaker, they have said it all. They have said all about this bill. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say some few things. Number one, Honorable Speaker, where we come from the pastoralist areas where we come from, where there are no roads at all, where we have only one matatu, leaving in the morning, as early as 3 a.m. in the morning, to get to town, and that same matatu will come back maybe around afternoon, going back to the village. Mr. Speaker, the motorcycles, they have played a very important role to move those women going to markets around the place, Mr. Speaker. It has really helped. It has really helped our students, even when they are going to school, Mr. Speaker, moving them from the villages to the nearby towns where they can catch up a matatu. And I can say, Honorable Speaker, with the coming of the motorcycles or the Bodas, Honorable Speaker, it has really changed completely the mode of transport, especially in the rural Kenya. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, the sector has also employed many young Kenyans. It's also a source of income to many Kenyans. But, Mr. Speaker, there are few, especially in the urban areas, Mr. Speaker. We have seen where the border operators, they are very unruly. Mr. Speaker, I want to say, one time I was coming from Karen, reaching around the junction around Kenya Science Way junction to Kawangware, Mr. Speaker, and there was one lady, I don't know, they had an accident with a border rider there. And Mr. Speaker, all of a sudden, about 20 of them, they came surrounding the lady. And you know, as the lady was still arguing, others were entering into a car, removing laptops, taking away valuables there. And he took my intervention, me together with my security team, Honorable Speaker, to help the lady. And you will find that in a normal traffic situation, when you are involved in an accident, it's normally the two drivers who can come out, and then a policeman can come in and intervene and see who is on the wrong. But in the border sector, Mr. Speaker, a small incident is like an opportunity of stealing, you know, and also maiming the person, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the position of the committee led by the honorable member, the Honorable T.J. Kachwang, that they are going to take up this bill, that we are not going to lose this bill, Honorable Speaker, that the committee is going to take it up and police it well, so that, Mr. Speaker, we regulate our border sector and have it as productive as we have seen in other countries, like what we are seeing in Rwanda. And we have a people who are able to follow the traffic laws, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Sometimes in our roads here, you are driving and you will see just a border coming head on towards from the opposite direction, completely on the wrong. And in fact, they want you to get out of your way to make way for them. So, Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow this to continue. We cannot allow this lawlessness to continue. This is a country which is governed by laws, Mr. Speaker, and I want to really say, Mr. Speaker, if the committee is going to take up this matter, and we have also the law enforcers, our traffic officers, enforce the rules very strictly. And Mr. Speaker, sometimes it's not that we lack laws in this country. We have so many traffic laws. It's only that we have people, we become a lawlessness country where people don't care to follow the law. And sometimes, some of these borders, including even the matatu operators, Mr. Speaker, those who are found to have violated the law, it is many of us, some of us, the politicians, the leaders, we are the first ones always to be in the police stations. Why are you arresting our people? Why are you arresting my people? And then they create some boldness. They become emboldened, Mr. Speaker, that they cannot listen to anybody, even the policemen on the road, because they know they have some godfathers somewhere. When they are arrested, they are going to be released. Mr. Speaker, I conclude on this, Mr. Speaker. I want to say, like the Honorable Kachwang said, if you go not only to Kenyatta National Hospital at 9th floor, if you go to MTRH in Eldoret, there is a whole almost two wards, which are purely for border victims. If you go to every hospital in Nakuru, in central Kenya, you will find that many of the accident victims are victims or are accident victims from border accidents. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude to say, the committee, you have the support of the House. We are going to support you. Polish this bill, bring it back, and we are going to pass it to regulate the border sector and become an income generating sector like any other sector in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Peter Irungu Kiungi is recognized.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I start to support the withdrawal of the motion of the bill. And Mr. Speaker, I want to question also still how the bill went all through the process and it came to Parliament from Senate without the mover or the Senate itself be able to realize the anomalies that they could have rectified. But Mr. Speaker, I want to support the most members what they have come. We need to regulate the operations of Boda. I think we are now allowed 24 years because mostly it came after during Kibaki regime. And I want to say, I was once operated as a conductor between around 2000, between Kayole and Nairobi, before Mechuki rules. It was extremely chaotic. And when he came with the Mechuki rules, we never knew that it would work. The only instinct that is needed is somebody who have the boldness and somebody who is not careful too much, maybe on his popularity, because we must regulate the border sector as it is. The numbers now that we are in of people who are employed by the sector, they are extremely rising. And I wish, as the committee is saying, this is an institution, these are whereby we need now to develop maybe a directorate that is concerned and every day is working on border sector. Because now, as it is left, I realized the other day, there was a burial in my village called Watoha. And it was a burial for a border guy who had an accident. I think there were 3. 2 died, and one of them maybe is in hospital. But during the period of one of the Boda rider, there came a group of Bodas who behaved as if they were chaotic. They interfered with the period whereby when the pastor was preaching, they came and took the coffin. They went directly to the burial site and buried the person. Without even prayers, they disregarded the family. It was so embarrassing, so chaotic. And therefore, that's why I'm saying, if we allow this sector to continue learning, now it's becoming now their chaotic issue. They are calling themselves biker. You don't understand how they are organized. And these people are criminals. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think the essence and the issue of regulating this sector is not to frustrate the operations of genuine Bodas. Because the Bodas in my village, they were left wondering what's happening. They felt the embarrassment up to a point whereby we had to do prayers in that church with the Bodas in the village to repent on behalf of Bodas. But those people, I think they have organizations, they are organizing themselves even from outside, and they are becoming extremely chaotic and disorganized. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think Halwale had an idea, but I think he panicked. But my prayer is that the Committee for Transport should think around it and come in a way to regulate and bring order to this sector. As everybody is saying, if you go to Rwanda, you feel, you admire the operations of Boda. One Boda carrying one passenger with a helmet, very organized. At a traffic jam, when they observe lights, is extremely organized. And I think that one needs just an organized registration, and also, if possible, we have a directorate that will trickle up to the ground so that these people can be able to be organized as circles, and we can be able now to remove those criminals have intruded in this sector. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I start to support the withdrawal, but I think Senate also should up their debate also, because I don't understand how the bill came to Parliament. Then when we have it in Parliament, they are calling for withdrawal. I don't understand at which instance, maybe at what, how the process went around. But Mr. Speaker, as Parliament, we can agree, but call upon the Committee on Transport, just look on how you can bring order in this sector. And I know we can be able to bring order, and it will work for genuine Boda operators. And it will also assist us to be able to remove those operators or those criminals who have gotten a chance to intrude in this sector. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Joshua Mwalio.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to support also the withdrawal of this bill. Although initially I was not for the idea of the withdrawal, but I was convinced by the House business that the withdrawal is the right thing. And then we bring ours from this House. And I was convinced by Honorable Kajwang, and I am convinced. Having said that, I want to say that this sector is very important because it came in the hard time, the best time. It is like the way we used to have no mobiles, and then the mobiles came as a savior for everybody, because you used to walk to someone's home, even 5 kilometers, and you find the person is not there just because we did not have the mobiles. But now the Boda have come to save the sector of transport, such that it has become very easy. Even wherever there are no roads, they are there helping the people in the rural areas. If you want to move faster, even in the city here, when you are late and there is a jam, you take a Boda and you reach where you are going as quickly as possible. So the Boda sector is a very important sector. Having said that, we need to regulate, because the things that are coming from the Boda, the issues that are being done, the bad things that are being done by the Boda, they defeat the good ones. Because they are the same Bodas who are being used by the hitmen. If they want to steal from you, they snatch your mobile and ride very fast, leaving you wondering, how do you run after a motorbike that is speeding? There are other things that are being done which is very good. There are some of them are so organized, such as they have their circles where they give money daily, even 100 shillings. And at the end of the day, they are able to give one person some money so that that person can buy his or her own motorcycle to be able to do the business. So there are good things that happens, but there are also very bad ones. The bad ones are the accidents. In my constituency, I cannot count how many people have been maimed. Some have become even disabled. Some have been, their legs have been cut because there are multiple fractures, because they have been knocked by Boda. In fact, there is one young man already now this week is in a mortuary who was knocked by a Boda last week. And so many things that we cannot even, they are countless. But when we will regulate it, we need also to enforce the law enforcement agencies to make sure that the Bodas keep to their lane. We have done so many trainings even with the CDF. We have trained them not to ride without helmets. We have even trained them not to ride without insurances. We have trained them not even to carry 2 people, but to carry only 1. But even after the training, they still go back to their old habits of carrying as many people as possible. You find one is carrying 4 people, and he himself is as if he is standing because he is there just next near the end of the motorbike. So it is very important to bring a regulated sector in this house so that we go through it, make it happen, because it was meant to be a very good sector. And of course it is, but because of the very bad things, then everybody is saying the Boda. They also, they bull people, even us, when we are campaigning. One time, I was bulled by them, and they even prevented me from entering a town until I paid 20,000. You see, so much bullying that they bully even the member of parliament. When you are going there to look for votes, they tell you cannot enter this town. It is controlled by us. It's a cartel. You pay money for you to enter and look for votes. If it's a rally you were going, you become late because you are arguing with the people that don't want even to hear you. So it is very important for us to regulate it, and let us talk to them and tell them this is a country whereby we need to be ruled by the rules that are already set, and not everything that you do that is accepted. One of the honorable members I just cited, you drive like this and there is one coming on your side. You don't even imagine there can be anybody riding towards you when you are on your line. So you might even collide and kill them, and even kill the passengers. So it is very important that we do what is right in this house, and our way is to make laws that help our country. I've seen also some of the organized ones. They obey their chairmen, they obey their secretariats, and you sit down with them, you plan your rally with them, so that they bring you in a town, so that everybody is alert. Somebody is coming to speak even to the people that you wanted to speak to. So they are good for organizing people and also for attracting attention so that they call for you the crowd. They are good for that. But if you don't pay them after they have done for you that, next time they might not even allow you to speak to the people that you wanted to speak. For Speaker, I want to support for this bill to be, this motion to be brought again after the committee has made good of it, and so that we can make the laws that can govern the sector so that our country can be disciplined. I've been to China. There are small thousands and thousands of boda riders, but they are so disciplined that they move as the cars move. When it is time to stop, you stop. When it's time to move, you move. And it is very organized. And that is where the motorcycles are manufactured. But here, whereby we have been able to import them, we are the ones who are not able to use our roads in the right way. So with those few remarks, Speaker, I support the withdrawal.
Does the Honorable Eric, the son of Mumbi, want to contribute to this? I'm told Mumbi is the mother of all the Agikuyu. You're not contributing to this? Okay, the Honorable, the Chair, the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, Honorable Kimani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And the motion today is on the discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, which is now the official withdrawal from the House. This bill sponsored by the Senator for Kakamega, Dr. Boniface Halwale. I've gone through the bill, Honorable Speaker, and although there were some things or some clauses in the bill that were offensive and probably necessitated the Senator's decision to withdraw the entire bill, it's unfortunate because the bill carried very many things, a few things, quite a number of things that were very, very useful, that would have been very useful to this particular section, Honorable Speaker. But before I debate the merits of the debate, Honorable Speaker, there was a presidential decree that was made in 2023 that was supposed to require training fees for bodas to 2,500, Honorable Speaker. I have checked that actually there has been programs that are being undertaken by AA, by NTSA, and by NYS that actually reduce the cost of this particular training to around 750 shillings, Honorable Speaker. However, these particular programs remain a mirage because there is not enough publicity on this, even to our constituents, Honorable Speaker. For you to acquire just a license to ride a boda, you need to have a provisional driving license that you apply at 650 shillings. You need to have a test application fee that you pay 1,050 shillings, and you need to pay a license and endorsement of 600 shillings. The training in I checked a few of the training colleges in the country will charge you between 5,000 and 10,000 shillings, Honorable Speaker. So for a skill set that is very important to the people at the bottom of the pyramid, and to the real hustlers of this country, Honorable Speaker, I think training fees for boda riders remain too high for them to afford. And one of, as a Committee of Transport now retreats to relook at how to bring this back, Honorable Speaker, will be to look at affirmative action to make sure we reduce the cost of training. Because the matters that are raised by the members in this House about, for example, the accidents that are caused by the Honorable Speaker, some of them is because some student clears Form 4 or Class 8, and of course now the easiest business to start becomes that of a boda rider, Honorable Speaker. But if then the training fees would be reasonable enough, then that particular rider, Honorable Speaker, would be motivated to go and do boda training, Honorable Speaker, before they actually get to ride that boda, Honorable Speaker. Boda sector is a very important sector in our economy. I dare say we cannot live without the boda sector in this country. You know, it is our last mile connectivity in our transport. When you want to go to the deepest of our villages or to the deepest of our urban areas where some of the roads are really small, Honorable Speaker, we rely on these boda riders, Honorable Speaker. When those people fall sick, it is these boda riders that take them to hospitals. The first reactions, even in terms of security matters, if there is a theft in a particular village, if there is any insecurity matters, Honorable Speaker, the first respondents most of the time, not even police officers. They are boda riders because most of them operate even 24 hours on the speak. And therefore, this is an area that is so critical to our economy that we need to protect. We need to provide affirmative action, Honorable Speaker, so that these riders can have training, can have better access to safety gears, such as a helmet, reflectors, Honorable Speaker. If you check around, especially in Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, you must have noticed most of the bikes, including during the day, have their lights on with a casacco at the front yellow. Those are electric motorcycles. And Honorable Speaker, the spur of use of electric motorcycles in this country that have saved the fuel consumption or the cost of running these bodas by more than 50% is a result of policy directions that have been made on this House. The Finance Act of 2023, Honorable Speaker, provided for zero rating of electric motorcycles and their parts thereof, Honorable Speaker. This fundamentally reduced the cost of electric motorcycles that have seen multinationals such as Uber, such as Mogo, such as Watu invest, Honorable Speaker, through venture capitalists into these particular entities, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, you've seen the profitability of boda riders, especially the ones that do delivery services around Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, use electric motorcycles. And you're hoping that this private sector will take this further to our villages, Honorable Speaker, so that the boda business can be more profitable to these young people that, Honorable Speaker, are very hardworking. As much as we want to blame our boda riders for the acts, Honorable Speaker, motorists also have contributed to this. You know, when you'll find a lot of time, especially around roundabouts, Honorable Speaker, we really squeeze out some of these boda riders, Honorable Speaker. And you find some of them is carrying a radio, Honorable Speaker. They really get scared because there's a matatu or there's a car that really is squeezing them almost out of the road. And out of that panic, Honorable Speaker, sometimes the passenger shakes or even the rider, Honorable Speaker, panics. So in as much as if you are really control the accidents that are caused by these boda riders, even as motorists, we need to respect other motorists on the road. Our boda riders are equal motorists in our roads, Honorable Speaker, and they deserve the respect we give the vehicles on our roads, Honorable Speaker. There's another policy direction, Honorable Speaker, with this House. I did sponsor the Business Laws Amendment Bill that was passed in this, Honorable Speaker. And one of the critical amendments we had was to stop the exploitation of the buy now, pay later program that was being done by financial institutions, Honorable Speaker. You'll find boda riders would go pay a deposit for a motorcycle of, say, 20,000 shillings, but by the time they are calculating the amount of money they paid for the loan of that motorcycle, it is twice or three times the cost of that motorcycle, Honorable Speaker. In addition, Honorable Speaker, if they defaulted just one payment or towards the tail end, if they deserve with just a few calls, Honorable Speaker, the motorcycle will get repossessed. So by bringing those buy now, pay later schemes into the purview of Central Bank of Kenya, then we expect that they're going to adhere to the ad hoc principle, Honorable Speaker, of not charging interest more than the principal amount of the particular item, Honorable Speaker. So these are some of the interventions that this House has made. However, we urge, especially our private sector, to innovate and make boda riding as comfortable, as safe as you've seen in the examples that we've talked about, for example, in China and Rwanda and other countries, Honorable Speaker. And a good example, there's a company called Oye. So Oye has partnered with National Oil petrol station, it is Total Petrol Station, Honorable Speaker, where now when the boda riders get to fuel their motorcycles at National Oil, at Total Petrol Station, Honorable Speaker, they actually get to contribute towards having a medical insurance for them and their passenger, Honorable Speaker. And these are some of the products, as we say, can we have our insurance industries innovate and have such solutions as these in terms of affordability, accessibility, and have the boda rider and the passenger to be covered on medical insurance. That's the same way we have for motorists, for other motorists, Honorable Speaker. So we laud the interventions that this House has made, and we look forward to the Departmental Committee on Transport coming up with even more innovations to cushion our boda riders from, to make sure that the riding is safe, the costs of their training is reduced, the cost of their security gears such as helmet and all the other training gears that they need, Honorable Speaker, that actually it's adhered to, Honorable Speaker. And we also thank them. They are a good example of organization. You know, you go to stages across the country, you find they're organized. They have the chairman of that stage who approves all those people that ride that particular stage. They know each other. Some of them have welfare programs. They organize themselves at the ward level, at the sub-county level, at the county level, and the national level. And if, for example, Honorable Speaker, we can find other ways of supporting them, especially with products, Honorable Speaker, and affirmative action on these particular people, I believe that they can really transform our nation, not just economically, but ensure there is a safe way of movement of goods and people from point A to B, Honorable Speaker, and they actually get to earn a decent income to support their families, because Boda people in this country are very hardworking people. And as Honorable Speaker, let us stop castigating all the Boda riders. Ati tunasema watu wote wa boda ni wabaya, ni wezi. It's just like in every sector. They are treated by professionals who do not adhere to professional good conduct. Whether you go to, whether it is in police service, whether it is in legal service, whether it is in the accounting profession, in every profession across the world, you cannot lack a few people who do not adhere to professional conduct of that particular institution, Honorable Speaker. So not all Boda riders are good, and majority of our Boda riders are hardworking Kenyans who work hard to feed their families, and for that we must applaud them and help them and cushion them against the cost of their training and the cost of their safety gears. With that, I support this discharge, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Stephen M. Mugaka, MP for West Mugirango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to support the withdrawal of this Senate bill, just like all other Senate bills should be withdrawn. Because the Boda sector, Mr. Speaker, is the lifeline of this country. And I speak to this as a graduate of business, and during my undergraduate course, one of my theses and dissertations I wrote was about the transport industry as it was then. Mr. Speaker, sir, the transport sector in East Africa was dominated by multinationals, the overseas trading company. And at that time, transport sector was a no-go zone for anybody. And that was the model, even in the banking sector, until the Grameen model came that destroyed the mythology that banking or transport is a space for only big players. Mr. Speaker, since the OTC time, when the matatu industry made a debut into the transport sector, it was demonized. And little did people know that the matatu sector was going to revolutionize the informal transport sector and make transport available to all from destinations which were not otherwise authorized stages